I'm Dory, and this is Abby. This is Abby. This is Abby. This is Abby. Abby is hanging out with me. Say hi. So if you hear barking or growling, it's because she's looking out the window and barking at the people outside. Yes, you're vicious.
Hey everybody, what's going on? My name is Juan. I am one of Dory's YouTube friends, and Dory actually told me to post this video, to make this video because Abby, her dog, ended up passing away, and she's in a lot of hurt right now.
What happened to Abby? Well, long story short, Abby died from an infection that is preventable, and I am at a stage in my grief where I am blaming myself, and I miss her very, very much. And I just kind of wanted to share what happened with you guys so that you guys can learn from my mistake and hopefully prevent a lot of suffering in the animals that you love, because Abby did suffer, and what happened was not okay. When I found Abby, she was tiny. She was an itty-bitty little puppy. She could fit in the palm of my hand, and I just fell in love with her right away. I found her in a Walmart parking lot, and she was a little sickly, so I took her to a vet right away. I had her dewormed and had her shots done and got her all fixed up, got her healthy, got her good food, and I set forward to try to give her an amazing life. And the vet asked me if I would like to get her fixed, if I would like to have my dog spayed, and I opted not to do this. I had absolutely no intentions of ever breeding Abby. I didn't want her to have babies. I know that there are way too many homeless animals in this world, but because Abby was going to be an indoor animal and wasn't going to be exposed to anything else, any other worldly things, she was just going to be with me, I didn't think it was going to be a problem. I was actually, at the time that I found her, I was in mourning for another animal, for a little cat who died in surgery for getting spayed. She died while getting spayed, and I had a lot of raw feelings, a lot of very strong, bad feelings about unnecessary surgery. I felt, why would I pay to have my pet put through pain and discomfort, to have an organ removed that is perfectly healthy, and I just opted not to put Abby through it. She was little and cute, and I just wanted to protect her, and I thought I was making a good decision. As time went by, I noticed that going into heat was over the years, getting more and more uncomfortable for her. It was sort of a burden on her, and it was causing her to have bouts of depression, and she was sad sometimes, and obviously in pain when it would happen, like she would have cramps, and I would give her Tylenol and things like that, and I would try to make her feel better, but I would think to myself, I should probably go ahead and get her fixed so she doesn't have to go through this anymore. Maybe I made the wrong decision, and I really started to doubt myself. But every single time that I would say, okay, I'm gonna get her fixed, I'm gonna make this happen, we're not gonna have any more heat cycles, it's just gonna be done. And every time I would get to that place, I would have some kind of financial issue and I couldn't afford it. Several weeks ago, I noticed that Abby had gone through another heat cycle. She was really taking this one hard. It was by far the worst one I'd ever seen her go through. She was more than just depressed and lethargic, but she was, you know, obviously very uncomfortable laying on her heating pad and wanting a lot of extra love and attention, and I was trying to provide her the best care that I could. I took her to a vet, and the vet said, well, you know, all of this is normal with a dog in heat. We can try to make her comfortable, and they gave me some pain medication for her, and I just tried to make her happy. But a week after that, she stopped eating and started hiding under the bed. I tried everything I could to make her eat. I got her special treats. You know, I boiled chicken and rice together, and I put it in a food processor so it would be really soft. I tried everything I could. Finally, one day I did find that she would eat canned cat food, so we went out and we bought tons of it, hoping that we could get her to eat. But it only worked that one day. I had a really bad feeling. I kept calling my vet, and they kept saying, well, this is normal heat behavior. You know, we'll go ahead and schedule to have her fixed. We'll have her spayed in a few weeks, and everything will be fine. So I made her appointment, and I finally decided I'm gonna get Abby spayed. I'm gonna do it. I'm not gonna put her through this anymore. This is my fault, and I felt very guilty seeing her uncomfortable. But then she started vomiting and having diarrhea, and I just knew. I knew in my gut that something was wrong. She went under the bed and was hiding that day. And me and Dre decided the vet doesn't know what they're talking about. This is not normal behavior. We're gonna take her in and make them look at her. Dre and I tried so hard to get her out from under the bed, and she would not budge. She wouldn't move. Dre got a vacuum cleaner, which she is terrified of vacuum cleaners, and he was poking her and trying to vacuum and putting it under the bed. He was literally bumping her with the vacuum, and she wasn't moving, and my heart started to break right then, because I knew she was not okay. And I ended up moving the bed as best as I could and fishing her out, pulling her out myself, and I took her and I wrapped her up and I put her, and we were into the car, and we got in the car and we were driving, and it was like she couldn't breathe. I couldn't feel her heart beating. And she was struggling to get air in and out of her lungs. I could see that she was struggling, and the traffic was so bad. It was just piled up, and Dre had his flashers on and was laying on his horn and trying so hard to get through traffic, but nobody would move. Nobody would get out of our way. And they didn't care that my dog was dying. Our vet was too far away, and we knew we were not going to make it, so we stopped at the very first vet we could. We just ran in, crying, saying, "Please help us. Please." And they grabbed her and they brought her back, and they ran test after test after test, and they finally came in and told us what was going on. And they said that Abby's had a uterine infection. They said her uterus was full of pus and that the infection had spread to her blood and that she had gone septic, and her blood sugar was low, and that she was starting to show neurological signs of death. They told us that they could do a surgery, it would save her life, everything would be fine, but they needed to stabilize her, to get her blood sugar up high enough to where she would survive anesthetic. So they said, we'll keep her overnight and do the surgery first thing in the morning. And they gave us prices and lists, and they also told us that she would be staying here overnight, but that no one would be with her. They told us that they do work with an emergency hospital for animals, and that is 24 hours. They said if we wanted, we could transport her to that hospital and have them keep her monitored and stable overnight, and then we could come back in the morning and bring her back for her surgery. And we opted to do that. We could not stand the idea of her being alone and in pain in a dark cage overnight with no one there to help her if she bottomed out or needed something. So we took her to the emergency vet, and by that time it was rush hour. Everyone was leaving work, and the traffic was so much worse. It was just standing still and no one would move, and as I was holding her, I could feel her body temperature dropping. She was getting colder and colder, and I kissed her face, and it was like kissing cold clay. I was looking into her eyes, and she had no idea who I was. I knew she was dying. I knew she was dying. I could smell the death on her. I could smell the IV fluids on her breath, and the way it was mixed with the smell of death, it was just... And as I was looking into her eyes, she suddenly parted her little lips and started to scream. She was screaming. She was not crying, she was screaming. She was screaming in agony. It's been over, 10 days now, and I still cannot stop reliving that moment. I cannot stop seeing it, hearing it, smelling it. I cannot stop experiencing that one moment over and over and over again. I see it over and over in my dreams. I see it every time the room gets quiet. Every time I have a chance to think, I see her screaming. I see the look in her eyes. I see the pain she was in, and it kills me inside. It was one of the worst moments I've ever experienced in my entire life. I loved that dog with all of my heart. She was my world. My everything kind of evolved around making her happy and comfortable. And she loved me too. She was such a good girl. And there was nothing I could do but sit in their car in the heat and listen to her screaming, feeling her cold breath and looking into her pained eyes, and everything just crumbled around me. And Dre panicked. He was having a full panic attack. He didn't know what to do. He started screaming. And I was crying and saying, please stop screaming, please. When we got to the emergency hospital, they rushed her back, and they told us that her uterus had burst, that the organ had completely ruptured, and that if she didn't have surgery right then, she was going to die. They said even with surgery, she had less than a 30% chance of making it. They said that she was in a great deal of pain, and they said that they would be happy to get started, but they wanted $27,000 in cash up front first. Now, we had already gone to the vet, like I said, when all of this started, over and over. By the time we got to this emergency vet, we had spent so much money that we could no longer afford our rent or our bills. And we had nothing left. We didn't have $27,000 or $2,700 to give to this vet. We didn't have it. And the vet let her die. He just let her die. Because we couldn't afford it anymore. If I had just had her spayed when she was a baby, it would have prevented so much suffering. It would have prevented so much pain. If I'd have just gotten her spayed when she was a puppy, she'd still be here. She was only 10 years old. And the reason I'm sharing this story is because I know a lot of people that are going to be watching this. They love their animals the same way that I do. And I want them to not experience what I did. I want them and their animals to not experience what I did. I want them to prevent this. I opted not to get her spayed as a puppy because I thought I was helping her. I thought I was protecting her. Dre and I have struggled with whether or not we did the right things. We talked to yet another vet who went over all of the medical notes and all of the history and all of the test results, and she came back to us and said, there is really nothing you could have done. She said that the vet at the emergency hospital was wrong and that there was absolutely no way. He said 30% chance that she would survive, but that she said there was nothing he could have done, that she was gone. And, I just don't know. Now, Dre and I, the impact that this has had on us, I cannot even put into words, because, I mean, it's been devastating. We cannot have children, and we're both the type of people that need a friend. We need something to love. We need somewhere to focus our energy, and Abby was it for us. She was our baby. I mean, I love this dog. She had her own Instagram account. I'm not really sure how to end this, but I do want to say thank you, Abby, for loving me, for being there for me. Abby was there for me when I was in the midst of an abusive relationship, and she was there for me throughout my divorce. She was there for me when I was struggling with my eating issues and when I lost so much weight. She was there for me when I was trying to date again and ended up with broken heart after broken heart. She was always by my side, licking my face and sleeping under the blankets with me at night, just being the best friend that she could ever possibly be. She was there for me when I found Dre, and when we fell in love, and when we got married, and she fell in love with Dre too. She's just been a constant source of positivity and love in my life, and the hole that she has left is enormous. It's it definitely feels like a part of me has died. I want to say thank you to Juan for making the announcement that he did for my channel when everything went down. I was definitely not able to talk about things quite yet, and I didn't want to just stop posting. I know that Juan is going through an awful lot also. He's got illness in his family, and he's suffered loss as well, and he's just an incredibly kind person, and I'm very grateful that he was willing to make that announcement for my channel for me. And I want to say thank you to you. You guys have been amazing. The comments and messages, everything that you guys have done for me is incredible. I really am so grateful for your support. I was 100% ready to see at least one comment of somebody saying, "Oh, come on, it's just a dog." But you guys haven't done that to me. You guys have been amazing, and I'm thankful. I'll be returning to my schedule this upcoming week, so things should be back to normal. You might hear me in future videos talking about Abby as though she is still here. You might see her in a few videos, and that's because I already made those videos months ago. I like to stockpile videos and have them ready and schedule them out well in advance. So yeah, you're gonna potentially hear and see her. I think I've got videos scheduled, at least 1 or 2 all the way out through October, so. But yeah, I'm not gonna refilm, I'm not gonna redo them, because I refuse to edit her out of my life. I guess I'll stop now, but thank you. Thank you for listening to this, and I appreciate it. Thank you for being amazing, and for remembering Abby and honoring her memory in whatever way you do. So, if you're new to my channel, I promise not every video is sad. I'm normally try to be very happy and positive. This is just one of those types of things that needed to be said, I guess. If you liked this video, I don't know why you would, but if you did, leave a thumbs up. And I will talk to you next time.